Just a small another hint how to use Gnosis. Let's have a look at this market. What will be the difficulty on block 180,000? We have 4 different outcome ranges, so we can basically buy 4 different shares. And but let's say we don't want to buy a specific share, but we want to sell this share. So we think the difficulty will not be bigger than 8.5 terahash, and or more specifically, we think the likelihood of this going to happen is smaller than this 24%. Thus it would make sense to sell those shares because we think 24 is overpriced. Currently, we only have shares of this outcome. So what can we do? One option would be just to buy the other 3 outcomes. That would be possible, but it's slightly more complicated, and we would need to calculate how much to buy of each of those. But there's another way. So what we can do is we can use this buy all outcomes button, and we spend 20 ether. And what happens now is that we buy basically 20 shares of each of those 4 outcomes, and we do not risk anything because one of those outcomes will be true for sure, and thus those shares will have the value of 20 ether. So it's really just a conversion and not a real and not a prediction at all, and not a risk at all. But as soon as this transaction is proceeded, we can then sell those shares, and the result will be that we still have 20 shares of the other 3 outcomes. So we basically lose money. We lose those 20 ether minus that or minus the amount we got for selling those shares. If this outcome happens, but since we think it's unlikely to happen, we usually just get our 20 ether back, and we win the amount that we will now. Okay, here 20 ether were reduced, and now we sell those 20 shares. Here we go. Bigger 8.5 sell shares. So we get 4.27 ether for it. And if actually this outcome will not happen, then basically our winnings are those 4.27 or what it was ether. Okay, we can just now wait for the transaction to be proceeded. Just have to wait for the next block to be mined. Should only take a few more seconds, just so that we can see the price moved indeed, and we get our ether. Still pending, but should only take a few more seconds. Hopefully, let's have a look whether or not the next block is mined. Okay, actually there was a block a few seconds ago. Okay, here we go. So the balance was increased, and actually we should now see. Okay, so it's really it's hard to see, but actually the price moved down now to to 19 in the last tick. Okay, thanks.